Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. Another minute or two. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to another episode of the P-Ave Perspective with Mr. O'Neill. As always, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, whether you're watching the live stream or whether you're watching the video that I post later on YouTube. I want to thank you for taking the time out to spend this time with me and chop it up. And as usual, I like to speak on real topics that affect us as individuals, our neighborhoods, and our communities. And if you like the show, please share the stream, hit the like button, show some support. Hopefully everybody doing all right tonight, but we're going to go ahead and jump into what I came on to talk about tonight. And honestly, I wasn't planning on doing a show this week. And those that know me know I really didn't put any promotion out this week, and I really didn't have nothing that I wanted to talk about tonight. But something has been on my mind, and I've been speaking about it for a while now, and it's really been on my mind. And the closer I got to this time, something just told me to get up and go ahead, and speak on it. So hopefully, you know what I'm saying, people will feel me, but if not, I truly understand. But it's something that I have to get off my chest. And basically, I named this episode Good versus Evil, because in my humble opinion, I feel like it's too much evil going on in this world nowadays. And the crazy part about it is, like I always stress, we are a godly people, really. We are, whether we know it or not, we are God's original people. And back in the days, you know what I'm saying, my grandparents, you know what I'm saying, the older people, and a lot of us have really stressed the fact that one group of people are evil and devils, and us being the righteous people, we've always, try to hold our own and try to hold ourselves to a high standard. And it's crazy, but over the years, I have watched us as a people literally become that evil race of people, that negative, ungodly race of people. And it's crazy to say that, but it is what it is. And just like I said, it's not everybody, but it is a lot of us. It is a lot of us. We've gotten to the point where we have become that negative, evil group of people. And I was working on something because, like I said, I am a coach, you know what I'm saying, a life coach. And I put together a few programs to educate my people and try to change our mindset and to help my people find their purpose in life. And the more I've gotten into it, the more I realize that we have to start from the basics. We have to really start from the basics. So earlier this week, I was working on something that started out working on something for my kids, because I like to try to educate my kids and lace them up and really put stuff in the atmosphere for not only my kids and my grandkids, but like I said, doing these videos to make sure that if something was to happen to me and I wouldn't make it to see my grandkids grow up, that they would have these videos to really check out and, get an idea of how I thought, the stuff that I believed in, and things of that nature. And let me say this, I am the last person to act like I'm perfect or act like I'm without sin or to act like I know everything and things like that. And that's why I study, that's why I research, and that's why I do so much to try to right the wrongs that I've done in the past and that I do now. Because like I said, I'm not perfect by a long shot and never what I claim to be. But I'm constantly, and I've always constantly tried to get better and be better. And the more I do that and the more I deal with my people, the more I just realize that some of us are negative, some of us are actually evil. There are a lot of evil spirits, a lot of evil people walking around in this world professing to be real or looking like they real and acting like they real when they really spread negativity and evil. And that's just not right. So, like I said, while I won't judge anybody, I never try to judge anybody, I want to speak on that tonight. And what I was putting together for my kids and for my future generations, I was really breaking down the original law or the original rules that we were given in life, and breaking down how, even though they were given back then in Moses' time, like how they translate into how we live today. And that was the original 10 Commandments. And like I said, I was doing the research and I was putting it together to give it to my kids as a tool to not only, speak on what the 10 Commandments, but also to talk about how they translate into regular life today. And that's really what I want to share with y'all today. And like I said, we'll jump right into it with the first commandment, which is, thou shalt have no other God but me. And like I said, then Israel at that time was surrounded by nations that worshiped multiple gods tied to power, to pleasure, and control. But in that commandment, God was demanding exclusive loyalty. And we look at it as God, but in essence, modern gods today aren't just statues. They're like your priorities. They're your priorities. And the commandments challenge us to ask ourselves, what ultimately governs us? What governs our decisions? What governs our behavior? And these days, more so than not, more often than not, it's not God and God's essence. We've come to worship money. We've come to worship status. We've got to the point where we worship attention and validation from other people and success and so many other things that take away from the essence of God. And I'm not preaching, like I said, I'm just speaking truth because we are God's original people. Whether we know it or not, whether we want to accept it or not, it's true. And in modern days, like, we have to get to the point where we live with God as our highest authority, not the career, not the culture, not the politics, not, what's going on in social media, what's going on, seeking approval, or none of that. But a centered life begins with a clear source of truth and direction. And we've gotten away from that. We really have gotten away from that. And so many of us have got to the point where we worship money, we worship attention, we worship validation. And you can tell by our actions because literally we would sell our soul for $1. I see on social media now where you have people selling their soul to go viral, and literally women literally selling their bodies for money, or selling their body, or like using their body to get attention, for validation. And like, whether we like it or not, the truth is that's evil. That is not what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? Like, those have become our gods. A lot of us, the attention, the validation, the money, that's become our God. Success. We would sell our soul for success. And it's crazy, but at the same time, we'll bring up God and it makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. And whether people agree with me or not, like, it's true. Look around. Look around you. But number two, you shall not make yourself an idol. You should not make for yourself an idol. Like, God refused to be reduced to an image that humans could manipulate or control. And like back in the days, they carved wooden images, and, we speak on the picture of Jesus and all the images of God. But nowadays, we have so many things that looks like God, but nowadays we're shaping God to fit personal opinions. And we're using God to, we've got away from worshiping God to the point where we're worshiping lifestyles, or we're worshiping influencers, or we're worshiping actors, actresses, rappers, social media influencers, you know, different ideologies, or ourselves, to the point where a lot of us, are judging and, using God and to, speak down on people, and well, God don't like ugly, and, be careful what you do and what you say, because, God is don't like ugly, and God is going to do this, and God is like using God to judge other people, and, really wishing harm on people in the name of God. And that's not what it's about. We getting totally out of hand. We getting totally out of hand with that. And we, like I said, we discuss those other people and call them devils, and call them wicked and evil, but it's like we trying to take over their spot. We as a people are really trying to take over their spot. It's so much hatred going on amongst each other. It's so much hatred going on, as they say, in the name of God. And we using God's name, to, judge people. And that's the one thing he said, like, that he made clear, like, we are not the judges. We are not the judges. You know what I'm saying? I see people nowadays, or I hear people nowadays, that be careful what you do to people, because God is going to do this and God is going to do that. Like, we're using God and using God to put people down, and telling people that God will punish them because they don't do what we feel like they should do with us, or they don't treat us how we feel like they should treat us. And that's not what it is. That's not what it's about. But that's really what we've come through. And like I said, we heard it. We heard, if you have an ounce of God in you, then you were smart enough, or you were sane enough to hear it. I hear it all around me. I hear it from loved ones. You know what I'm saying? And using that, well, be careful how you treat people, because God this and God that. Because a person is not treating you how you feel like that person should be treating you. And that's just not God. That's not what it's all about. That's not what it's all about at all. But don't remake God into your own image. We can't do that. Let truth challenge you instead of bending truth to make yourself comfortable. That's not what it's about. That's not what it's about. If you're helping someone, then help them without, expecting. Why would you expect something in return? You don't get your blessings from people. You get your blessings from God. But then to help somebody and then flip the script and feel like that you're going to speak on God punishing them because they don't help you back, or because that just shows you didn't do it in the name of God. You didn't do it to truly help people. Because in those times when you feel like that, you should pray for yourself. Pray for your own heart. Pray that God purifies your heart, and take that, because that's hatred. That's not God. God is love. That's not it. And just like I said, I never will say I haven't been upset with somebody, or I haven't, but I'm not, I'm not gonna never get to the point where I deal with somebody to the point where I, really wish bad on them, or wish that they would get punished, or say that God would punish them because they're not doing what I feel like they should be doing, or they not acting like I feel like they should be acting, even if it's toward me. Because the one thing about me, I've helped plenty of people. But it's just like me helping the guy, giving the guy some change on the corner that says he's hungry. If I give him that change, another person might say, don't give him that. He's not gonna get nothing to eat. He's gonna buy something to drink, or he's gonna buy a drug. I don't care, because I gave it to him because I wanted to, bless his game. So it don't matter what he do with it. What matters is why I did it. And if I did it to bless them, it doesn't matter what they do with it. It's not going to change my blessing. But then if I get to the point where I'm speaking down on them because they didn't buy some food or because they didn't say that they weren't going to do with it, and well, God is going to do this. God, that is not love. That is not love. And that shows that I wasn't giving it to be a blessing to somebody. I was giving it expecting something in return. And that's just not what it is. That's not what it's about, man. That's not what it's about at all. That's where it gets into the evil and the negativity. But number 3, you should not take the name of God, the Lord, in vain. But in the beginning and now, God's name represented his character, his authority, and his reputation, what he stood for. And let's be real, the Spirit of God is in us, or it should be, because he created us and he blew the breath of life in us. That is the Spirit. That is the essence of who we are. But like I said, some people have allowed the devil to take over and don't even know. Like, and this goes beyond people that curse, because I curse. You know what I'm saying? That's something I'm working on. But I curse, but claiming God while living dishonestly. I have a conscience. And people that know, that are close to me, know. Women, no matter who I've dealt with in life, my kid, everybody knows. I might do a lot of things, but I try not to lie because I have a conscience. I feel that. I peeped that a long time ago. If I lie to somebody, I have a conscience. It stays with me long after the conversation is over. To the point where I realized when I was young, when I did used to lie, I would end up going back and tell people the truth because it bothered me, whether they knew it or not. It stayed with me. And that's when I really started recognizing, like, yes, like that is the Spirit of God. Because as a man, I don't have to lie to anybody. Whether I do good, whether I do bad, I don't have to lie to anybody because he see everything I do. Regardless of what the next person think, what the next person feel, I don't have to try to explain anything to them. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm more focused on getting right with him and being right with him. So, like I said, claiming God while living dishonestly, using faith to justify harm, manipulation, or pride. And like that's what we do today. Like I match energy, or we so quick when we're attacked to attack back. And we so quick to where when we're hurt, we want to hurt people back. That's not God. That's not it. That is not it. That is evil. Because yes, when people hurt you, they will be judged. They will be dealt with. But if you allow them to push you to the point where you hurt them back, you have to reap the karma for your actions. You have to reap the karma for the hatred or whatever you have, the negativity that you have toward them in your heart, or the negative actions that you display toward other people, or the negative stuff that you do to other people. You have to reap the negative consequences for that. And it's crazy, but we have to get back to the point where we let our life and the things we do match what we say and what we believe. And if we really believe in God, like I said, you're not going to always get it right, but your conscience should tell you. If you really have God in your life, your conscience will tell you when you're doing wrong. You feel it. It's times where I don't allow myself to be, manipulated into doing something or feeling some type of way towards somebody. But I feel it, regardless of what. I feel it. I've been cursed out and I curse somebody back out. But then it's messed with me to the point where I had to go back and apologize for what I did. I can't apologize, or I can't, even if I don't accept what they did to me, I have to apologize for what I did to them out of anger, or what I did to them out of spite. I had to go back and apologize and make that right for me to be right. And a lot of us don't care. A lot of us will lie. A lot of us will steal. A lot of us will, like we say, match energy. And people hurt us and we try to hurt them back. And we use that. Well, hurt people. No, hurt evil people, hurt people. Because if you have God, you understand how it feels when you're done wrong. So it makes it that much harder for you to feel comfortable doing wrong to others. It's just what it is. Whether we want to admit it or not, it's what it is. If you truly believe in God, then you know that. And you agree with it. You have to agree. It is what it is. But we have to get right. We really have to get right. We really have to get right. But like I said, number 4, you know what I'm saying? Remember the Sabbath. It is what it is. It is what it is on that. That's self-explanatory. That's self-explanatory. God commanded rest in the world built on survival and labor. We have to get to the point where we really take time out and rest and meditate and get into God's word and, not let this world tear us down. Not let this world tear us down, and to really recharge and recuperate, rejuvenate. But we have to create space for reflection, to look back over, the decisions that we made and look over what we do, and to really give God his time, man, because we really need God nowadays. We really do. And we're getting further and further away from it. But like I said, that really speaks for itself. But trust that life, we have to we have to recharge. We have to get ourselves together. We have to constantly take time out to get closer to God. But number 5, and this is crucial, like honor your father and your mother. We've gotten all the way from the point where we don't even respect our elders anymore. We don't, take the time out to, honor our elders, respect our elders, look out for our elders. I see people nowadays tell me about, my kids. My kids are, for the most part, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. And as parents, I know a lot of times, a lot of these parents, they disrespect kids. They disrespect themselves. They don't show kids the respect that kids deserve. And I know a lot of kids get to the point where, hey, if you don't respect me, then I won't respect you. But we are taught to honor our father and mother because they gave us life. They gave us life. That is teaching us to respect. Family was the foundation of social stability and moral formation. And we got away from that. This commandment speaks to respect for those who gave you life or guidance, healing generational patterns, honoring authority without excusing abuse. Like, it's so easy nowadays. It's so easy to disrespect our elders. It's so easy. I hear kids cursing our elders. And like, I know, just like I said, I know. I grew up with, a mother who cursed and didn't care, and you do as I say, not as I do. But like I said, I always knew that if I did the same thing, that would shorten my days. That would, be the negativity, the evilness on my part, to feel like because you did me like that, I can do you like that. And that take away from the essence of, God, loving God, respecting God. And it starts in the home with our parents. That's where it starts, regardless. But honor doesn't always mean agreement. It doesn't always mean, like, I didn't agree with a lot of stuff that my mother said, but I'm not cursing her out because, like I said, disrespecting her, that's shortened my days. And people would say, No, when you talk to your mother, yes, I got to a point because I didn't have a voice when I was young. So I got to the point where I knew I could voice my opinion. But at the same time, I never got to the point where I felt like my mother wouldn't do something to me if I said the wrong thing or did the wrong thing. That's not that. But we have to get to the point where, like I said, honoring them doesn't always mean we agree with what they say, but it does mean maturity, respect, responsibility. Like healthy societies are built on healed families. It's built on that. Excuse me. But yeah, like we have to get back to the point where we as people, it starts that respect, that self-love, it starts with the parents and the people who gave us life, whether we agree with them or not. But number 6, you shall not murder. Think about that. Think about that. Think about that nowadays. Murders every day. Murders every day. Murders every day. We will murder each other before we can have a conversation with each other. Before we can, discuss, the disagreement. It's more easier nowadays for us to murder each other than it is to, discuss a disagreement or get to the point where we agree to disagree. Think about that. Like human life was sacred because, like I said, we are created by God. In essence, we are gods. We are goddesses. But how can we claim to be gods and goddesses when we so quick to end each other's life? We so quick to take each other's life. We hate each other that much to the point where how can we be godly if we willing to kill other gods and goddesses? How? It makes no sense. It's evil. It's all evil. It's all evil. And that includes hatred. That includes contempt for others. That includes dehumanization. Like, we don't see each other at, we hate. It's too much hate going on. It's too much hate going on. And then, just like I said, we consistently throwing God in it. We consistently throwing God in it. Like I see people nowadays, don't be God, you know what I'm saying, that punish you behind dealing with me, and God of this. Like, no, that's not what it's about. That's not for you to call. That's not for you to call. That's not for you to call at all. But like I said, choose life. Choose life in how you speak. Choose life in the fact that you can't judge people. It's not on us to judge other people. Like my grandma used to say, pray for them. Serious. And if you, like you said, if you can't say nothing good about somebody, don't say nothing. Don't say, keep your mouth closed, because speaking on them will bring negativity. It will bring evil towards you. It will bring evil. That's evil in your heart. Like, treat people who differ from you. Treat them right, regardless of what. Regardless of how you feel about how they act, regardless of how you feel about their actions. If you can't pray for them and pray that God show them the way, keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. Like, protect human dignity, emotionally, socially, and physically. We have to do better, man, because we get to the point where we evil. It is what it is. But number 7, you should not commit adultery. Faithfulness, protected families, inheritance, and trust. Like, adultery includes emotional betrayal, secrecy, and using others for gratifications. And let me say this. Like I said, I don't speak on others, but I've constantly told people that I practice poly. And polygamy at one point I practiced, but that's all based on honesty. It's all based on honesty. And just like I said, we grown. We grown. And that's all you owe the next person. Like I said, the next person don't tell you how to live. The next person can't tell me how to live. Just like I said, I have to answer to that man. All I owe the people I deal with is honesty. That's it. That's it. So in any situation, whether it's relationships, whether it's anything, it's an agreement. And I'm the type of person, me personally, I don't speak on nobody else. But me personally, I cannot commit adultery. Because if I get into a serious relationship with somebody, I'm man enough to tell them, if my needs aren't met, I'm going to go somewhere else and get my needs met. It's simple as that. And people might not agree with it. But just like I tell you, if I look in my Bible, man-made law may tell me what I can do and what I can't do. But if I look in my Bible, it's in my Bible. Adultery is in my Bible. I read my Bible faithfully. And just like I said, it's rules, it's guidelines, it's an understanding. It's honesty. It starts with honesty. It all starts with honesty. And if I can't do nothing else, I can be honest, because the only person that can judge me is God himself. And he knows. He knows. He knows my weaknesses. He knows my strengths. He knows all of that. So anybody I deal with on that level, and that's what it's about. I'm not betraying nobody emotionally. I'm not, secret. I'm an honest person. I don't have to communicate. I don't have to hide my mother used to tell me that I was wrong because I can talk on the phone to a woman in front of another woman. No, that is honesty. I'm not going to say nothing to a woman in private that I can't say in person. That's honesty. That's being an adult. And now everything is so secret. Everybody is cheating. Everybody is deceptive. Everybody is, no, that is evil. It's evil. It is evil. If you can't be honest, like God see everything. God see everything you do in the dark. So why even try it? So no, I'm not perfect, but I'm honest in who I am. I'm honest in what I do. So like I said, we have to do better. We have to do better. Practice integrity. We have to practice integrity. We have to practice integrity in relationships, honor commitments, respect boundaries, value people beyond desire or utility. Faithfulness creates safety for you and others. And that's what it's all about. Honesty, faithfulness. I'm faithful in who I am. I'm faithful in what I tell people I'm going to do. I'm faithful in what I tell people I'm not going to do. I have my own boundaries. I have my own, guidelines. And if you are a person that deal with me, then you know my boundaries. You know my guidelines. You know what I have going on. That's just being real. That's just so the rest of it. Yeah, you game is not lying. So it's not game. You just a liar. And God see everything. Let me see what I got going on. Marcus Samuels. Amen, folks. Amen. I appreciate you watching, Miss Sheila, Wanda, Kinfolk Marcus, my bro, Mr. Fuller. I appreciate y'all tuning in, man. But hey, we have to do better. We have to do better, man, or we just gonna become an evil people in an evil society. But number 8, you shall not steal. Steal and destroy trust and community stability. It's too rampant now. Stealing can look like exploiting others, dishonesty in business, taking credit that isn't yours, manipulating systems for personal gain. Like that's what we do. We scammers. You know what I'm saying? I looked at people, I didn't judge. I don't judge. It's not for me to judge, but I'm speaking on it. I looked at people, stealing when it came to, the stimulus. I looked at, what I'm saying, like scammers nowadays. Everybody's scamming. You know what I'm saying? People getting over. Everybody, getting over. Everybody wants to lick. Everybody want to hit a lick. You got nowadays, right now, you got this income tax thing coming. You got all these scammers out here scamming people out of their income tax. and cheating people and trying to get over. What is that? And that's evil. That is nothing godly about that. Some of the same people I see on here scamming and scheming on people, the next day you posting posts about God. Do you not think God see that? Do you really think you're going to be blessed in doing it like that? It's gotten too easy. It's gotten too easy to the point where we can't even work together as a people because we too worried about, getting scammed or getting, cheated out of something. And that's real. But that's why we all suffer. That's why we all suffering. And 9 times out of 10, the people that feel like that because they've gotten over on people, or they've scammed people, or they've cheated people. And just like I keep saying, man, he see everything. He don't miss nothing. So obviously, if you can do it like that and you can sleep at night, you don't believe him. You don't believe in him. You don't believe in him. There's so many people that do that nowadays. I see do it and, well, God this and God that. And I'll ask them, what God you praying to? You're not praying to the same God I pray to. Because if you were, he gonna punish you for that. And anybody that know me, if we did business, if we did anything, I have went above and beyond to deliver what I say I was going to do. But I had so many people that will promise me this and promise me that and promise to do this and promise to do that when they have no intention of doing it. And then actually get mad at you when you bring it up to them about something they promised to do. Like, it's too easy. It's too easy to lie. It's too easy to scheme. It's too easy to get over. That's not godly. It's not. I don't care how you see it or how. And if you do, you praying to the wrong God. If your God would allow you to do that and sleep good at night, or when a person comes to you about you cheating them to try to deflect, and not take accountability, I don't know what God you're praying to. But I know we're not praying to the same God. Because Jesus forgives. My God punishes. And I know a lot of people get away with that. I speak on that all the time. A lot of y'all can do it in the name of Jesus because Jesus forgives. That's what they tell you. They tell you can kill people, and they come to you at the death chamber before they stick the needle in your arm and say, if you repent and turn your life over, and accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior, you can go to heaven. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. So a lot of y'all, and I'm not talking about the Christians, but a lot of y'all feel like y'all can do that and y'all can get over. And just like I said, Jesus forgives, but my God don't. Look at the Bible. He destroyed people for stuff like this. And like we as a race are destructive. We are on the highway to hell because we feel like we can do it and there's no consequences. And that's just not what it is. Man. That's not what it is. We need to learn to live in fairness and integrity. We need to build, we need to earn, we need to create without exploiting others, man. That's not how it works. We need to learn to step up and deliver or be honest up front and say, hey, man, I can't do it. But this scamming, this scheming, this getting over on people, man, is evil. And it's going to lead you straight to hell. That's why a lot of y'all think hell is somewhere after you die. No, that's why a lot of y'all in mental and emotional hell right now. That's why. And you won't be blessed. It is what it is. But number 9, you shall not bear false witness. Truth preserve justice and protected the innocent, man. And right now, look at it. Look at it. And I'm not saying no snitching because just like I said, wrong is wrong. Wrong is wrong. So I call wrong. I've never been upset when I did wrong. I've never been upset with the person that called the police and told the police on me because I knew I was doing wrong. That's why when I did wrong back then and I didn't know God, I tried to hide it from the average person. I tried to hide it from that lady across the street because that's what she was supposed to do as a citizen when she saw me doing wrong was call the police. But nowadays, like I said, everybody is all stop snitching and all this and all that. No, man. Wrong is wrong. Like I said, we knew when we did wrong, we knew we were doing wrong. That's why we hid. Because we tried to hide from people. We tried to hide from our parents. We tried to hide that. In my generation, we weren't cursing in front of our parents because we knew we were doing wrong. We cursed when we was all by ourselves somewhere with our little partners, and we did all that. But like we knew, but like it's too easy right now to bear a false witness, lying, gossiping, talking about other people. We sit up right now and have whole conversations about these entertainers and about these stars like we know their life. That's gossiping. That's why I made it my business on this show. Before I start doing this show, I'm not speaking on nobody else. I'm not speaking on nobody's name. I'm not putting nobody's name in here because that's gossiping. That's gossiping. And just like I said, that is evil. That is evil to speak on stuff we don't know nothing about, to speak on people that we don't know about, or to, like we've been doing nowadays. Take this person's, side of the story and pass judgment on somebody without hearing that person's side of the story. That's bogus. That is bogus. That is evil to even do that. Because what I learned a long time ago was when people come to me talking, I don't want to hear what you got to say about somebody else, because I know what I'm knowing is it's something that you're not telling me. It's something that you're leaving out, because if you really had a problem with that person, you will be talking to that person to rectify the problem. By you talking to me, you looking for sympathy, or you looking for somebody to validate, you're wrong, and you're not going to tell everything. You're not going to tell me everything. You're going to leave out key stuff, because you're trying to manipulate my opinion. And y'all so easy to manipulate it these days. Too easy. Too easy to take what this person tell you and run back and gossip, and spread false witness, bear a false witness against each other. That's evil. That's evil, man. Character assassination. It's too easy nowadays. It's too easy to distort the facts to try to control the narrative. It's too easy nowadays, and it's evil. It's evil, man. That's not of God, man. It's not. But we have to be committed to truth, man, regardless of what, regardless of whether we like it or not. And if we don't know, it's best not to speak on it. But when you know the truth, speak the truth, because you can't lie to him. You can't lie to him. But even when it costs you, truth builds trust. Lies poison communities. And people will tell you, I'd rather tell you the truth, and have you dislike me for the truth than tell you a lie and lose respect, because it means that much to me. And I've always been like that, regardless of whether you like it or not. Yes, I would rather tell you the truth and have you mad at me because how it made you feel. But at the end of the day, if you're a godly person and you real, you're going to respect that truth. And we got to the point where we don't even respect it no more. We'd rather be told a lie. We'd rather be deceived. I heard somebody say not too long ago, if you got a man and he tell you the truth and he lie to her, which one do he love the most? Well, he love you enough to not to tell you the truth because he don't want to hurt you. That's bull. That's bull. That is evil. And if you believe that, there's something wrong with you, because a real person, a real man is going to tell you the truth and let you use truth to make your choices and decisions. And just like I said, hopefully you will respect the truth, but y'all don't, because we too evil nowadays. We too evil. The person that tell the truth, I'm the person that tell the truth, and I know I get hated the most. People tell me, I'm being messy because I tell the truth. Yeah, that's how evil we are nowadays. We got to get away from that, man. We got to get to the point where we stand on what's real and we stand on truth, because that's godly. That is godly. But number 10, and one of the most important, you shall not covet. God addressed the heart, not just the behavior, but covet fuels chronic dissatisfaction, comparison culture. That's us. We compete. We want to compete with everybody. It's so crazy now, because you see a person succeed, you can't even give a person this credit and say, man, that's a good job. We got to say, oh, he lucky, or oh, he sold his soul, or he sold out his kinfolk to the Illuminati, and all, like, because we can't even give a person his credit for the hard work and the grind and the focus that it took to get where they at. We'll blame it on luck. Because we hate, you know what I'm saying? The fact that we ain't accomplished it. The fact that we ain't did nothing with our life. So it's easier to say they lucky than to say, no, they outgrinded us. They put forth the effort. They did more and put forth the effort. We'll blame it on anything to keep from saying they did that. They did that. You got the dude now, oh, look, he think he all that. No, you think he all that. You just not confident enough of yourself. You just don't have God and the confidence in yourself to be able to get that man his credit or get that woman their credit for what they did. So it's easy to try, you know, to turn them down because you covet their life. Because, you know, you want to be in a position they in instead of being comfortable and being happy with you are. Like, I post a lot of times on social media that I'm the best to ever do it. People question me about that, and people hate on me about that, but I'm the best that ever did me, because that's all I ever wanted to do. And you can't argue with that. I'm the best that ever did it because all I ever do was be me. Yes, I can give a person a credit. I can look at the next man and congratulate the next man on his success. Congratulate the next man. That motivates me. When I see my fellow man win, or I see my fellow man get that bread or get that lifestyle, I'm man enough to say, man, he did that. That motivates me. It don't bring out no hate in me. It don't make me hate or covet what he has. No, I'm not that person. God won't let me do that. But I see y'all, man. I see y'all with the hate. I see y'all, you know, with greed, with the resentment. Because the dude that stayed next door to you, he winning now. He done came up. He done made it now. You hate, oh, he lucky. He lucky. Or yeah, he did this or he. Come on, man. That's not what it's about. That's not what it's about, man. Pure hatred. Pure hatred. But practice gratitude, man. Practice contentment with who you are, with what you have. Because if you're not content with who you are and what you have, God will never bless you. If you're always looking at the next man and comparing yourself to the next man, or hating on the next man, or hating on the next woman, you will never be blessed. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We have to learn to celebrate others, man, without envy, to truly be happy when people win. That's the only way we're going to win. We have to learn, you know, to be comfortable who we are, whether we got it or whether we don't. And that's me, whether I got it or whether I don't. I know I have the potential to win. And I know if I keep pushing and doing my thing, God gonna bless me, man, because I'm not doing without. I'm not missing no meals. I have a roof over my head, and I still have the health and the mental capacity to go get it and go accomplish whatever I want to. So that's why I say I'm the best to ever do it. And nobody can tell me different, because I'm not trying to be anything but me. But measure success by alignment and not accumulation. Yeah, measure it by your mindset. Measure it by your actions. Measure it by your heart, not what you got. Because it's some rich people that's fake. It's some rich people that's bogus. It's some rich people that's evil. So that's not what it's about. But guard your heart, man. Guard your heart from endless comparison. Guard your heart from hatred towards somebody. Guard your heart from envying what the next person got, what the next person driving, what the next person live at. But peace begins internally, man. Peace begins internally. And if you're not peaceful with yourself, you'll never be right. You'll never be right, man. The bigger picture, man. The life God intended. The Old Testament law reveals that God desired humans to live in relationship, not religious performance, with integrity, inside and out, man, in community, marked by justice and compassion, with discipline, not chaos, with rest, not slavery to productivity, man, not slavery to the money, not slavery to the system, man, with transformed hearts, not surface obedience, from the heart. From the heart. Appreciate y'all tuning in. I see Aunt Deborah. I see Crowd Queen. I see y'all tuning in. But hey, man, I'm gonna wrap it up, man. But like, I still say, man, we have to do better. We have to do better, man. If you're feeling what I'm saying, hey, share it for me, man. Share it. Somebody else might need to hear it, man. Like, support, and like I said, man, if you can, shoot a donation so we can keep it running, man. It is what it is. You know, I'm going to only keep it real. I'm going to only keep it real. But like I said, man, I'm Mr. O'Neal. This is the P-Ave Perspective. I thank y'all for tuning in, and God willing, man, we're going to do this again next week. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Peace.